welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We're just looking at maybe having an excursion to my hometown of Middlesbrough, and I know that Shaka and Stevie have signed up straight away. They're here with us. So too, Robbo and Jules. They are looking to come to Middlesbrough as well.
Are they?
I think so. Maybe that's why they're not appearing. Here they are. Here they are. Desperate to come to Middlesbrough. Both. Look at Jules, enthusiastic. Robbo, don't be like that. No need for that.
Well, he's been there. He knows what it's like.
Robbo's speaking for all of us.
It was voted the most boring city in the
so he's like,
country.
oh yes, that would be a lovely trip.
Not the most boring, Robbo. It was not very nice what they said about my hometown, but it wasn't the most boring. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there.
I thought it took over from Grantham. I thought Grantham was the most boring, and then Middlesbrough took it over.
If we go to Middlesbrough, what's the big attraction?
What's the go-to?
The Parmo. For a start, we have our own dish that's like native to Middlesbrough.
Describe it.
It is an escallop of pork or chicken. You have like bechamel sauce on top, 2 different cheeses on top, and then you can have like garlic on top of that. You can even top it with like pepperoni and stuff, and salad on the side. And it's got over 1,000 calories in one sitting.
The problem is, right, nobody outside of Middlesbrough knows about it.
Oh, they do. They do.
Look
at Jules. Look at Jules with his French palate.
The big attraction to Middlesbrough is a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's not a sandwich.
That's what it sounded like.
It's not a sandwich.
What is it?
It's a big escallop.
You can't even make up your own mind whether it's pork or chicken.
Aye.
Because that's the great thing. You have the option.
That's a good thing.
You have the option.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You know what? I bet you'd all
it.
love it. I bet you'd all love it.
No, I don't like scallops.
All right.
And
Enough of the
that's from a
Middlesbrough hate.
Scotsman who eats haggis. He's haggis.
Exactly.
You don't want to go to Middlesbrough for your...
I don't
It's
think
a
you
sandwich, not a sandwich.
There's no way you'd rather have haggis.
Yeah, you described it better than haggis.
Stevie, this is so much more up your street than haggis.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, enough of the Middlesbrough hate.
Yeah.
Jules, seeing as though Don isn't here, what is the percentage that Leo Messi will score against City?
Whoa, I mean, I wish Don had been here to show once again his science of mathematics. The interesting thing, really, more seriously, is that Messi has scored 6 goals in 4 games against Pep Guardiola's team. So twice against Bayern Munich, twice against Man City, albeit in 2015 and 2016. So a long time since they haven't faced each other. But he usually does pretty good if you look at those games and those numbers against Pep. So... I mean, 50-50 is always the easy one, I guess. But I would love to see Messi score his first goal for PSG since arriving in a game of this caliber against Pep as well, for all the narratives and all the story.
Let me just say, that's a cop-out of a percentage, by the way.
So what would you go
Jules
for?
goes, he starts off with, Lionel Messi has scored 6 goals in 4 games, 50-50. What kind of cop-out percent is that, Jules?
What else do you want me to say?
Hang on, Shaka, have you got it in for Jules because he doesn't like your power ranking?
No, no, not at all.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of person.
All right.
I've got a great
Robbo.
story for Shaka.
Oh, go on.
I've got a great story for Shaka.
Go on.
No. When somebody
So
says
on
that,
Saturday,
that's
I
for
was at Stamford Bridge,
afterwards.
right?
Right.
I was at Stamford Bridge for the game between Chelsea and City, and behind me were the BT Sport boys, so Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole, and Julien Lescott. And we were talking before the game, etc. And then the game kicked off, and we were looking, and at some point, Edison hit like a diagonal 50 yards right onto Bernardo Silva's foot. And Joe Cole goes, "Oh, what boy. Imagine Shaka Hislop doing this. He would break his ligaments of his ankle." And I was like, whoa, what's going on?
It's true.
That was so free. So free.
It's true.
All right, Joe Cole.
I wasn't playing that ball. I wasn't playing that ball.
All right, Joey.
I know, all right, Joe. Leave it out, steady on. Right, Robbo, it sounds like Dan doesn't like Coutinho. Robbo, does it surprise you that 18-year-old kids playing alongside him have a better understanding and decision-making than Coutinho? He's 29 years old now, and he keeps making the same old mistakes again and again. Do you see a future beyond this season for him at Barcelona?
I don't see much of a future beyond this season for him at Barcelona. I think the last couple of games he's done okay. He hasn't looked fully fit. He hasn't always made the right decisions. And Nicol played well. Gavi played well. and they were probably better in midfield than Coutinho was. But the crowd gave him a standing ovation. They were getting behind him by the end of the game. He was playing in the hole behind the front two, or Luke de Jong and Memphis Depay. I thought he did okay, but he's not the player he was when he was at Liverpool. That's for sure.
All right. Stevie, I saw this one come in and I'm actually interested to know what you're going to say. Henry York wants to know, what actually are players whispering to each other before a free kick?
Well, if you'd asked me this when I was playing, I would have said they were winding each other up and having a carry on. Because that's what we used to do.
Just
You mean with your opponent or with your teammate?
No, with the boys.
Oh.
It would be. So there'd be three of you standing around it.
Oh, so you just pretend?
No, well, depending on who's there, it's going to be one of them. Well, you're not taking this, because there's no way you're going to reach the goal, or there's no way you're going to smash somebody in the wall. So you're not taking it, and then they'd start having to go back, going, well, you shouldn't be taking it either. You should. Aye.
Oh, so it's actually a little argument amongst teammates?
No, it's just a carry on, and we all know who's going to take it.
You all know.
Everybody's
already.
got.
I've got to say, the
number.
banter in those days was magnificent, wasn't it?
Aye, used to go on all the time.
Would you have a similar story like that, Robbo?
Honestly, if you came over, I'd go. If you came walking over, I'd go, what are you doing over here? That's what you would get. What are you
say every
doing?
time it's me instead of Dan.
And then you'd go, right, fair enough, and then walk away.
Oh, fair enough. I thought it would be like, well, you know, it's going to top corner.
Way
No?
too serious.
Oh, wow. All right, this one for you then, Shaka. Who was the most serious player you'd ever had as a teammate or that you coached? Someone who rarely smiled and approached football as a job. And Jules, they're also going to ask you about a player you covered who was serious all the time. So, Shaka, who was the most serious to you?
The most serious player I've ever played with? That's a good question. I can't.
Is there anyone who's just all business?
I honestly can't think of anybody a lot like that, you know? People knew
Maybe it
when
was
to
you?
switch off. No, it definitely wasn't me. I'm pretty sure about that. People knew when to switch off.
Right.
That, you know, and you all have that same kind of singular focus whether it's training or the games. Once it's on, you're on. And then when you're off, you're off. That's a good question. I can't think of anybody else.
You'll be in the shower tonight and you'll be like, that person.
I probably won't be thinking about that. It's still okay. But okay.
I just realised as I said it, probably not. Maybe on your drive home. Maybe on your drive home, Shaka. Stevie, was there anyone serious in your squad?
I would say Jay Heaps was so intense. Not that he never smiled, but one of Don's 90% of the time, he was very intense.
Right.
That's the only one I can think of.
Robbo?
Well, we had a player at Arsenal who was, I wouldn't say he took everything particularly seriously, but he was always moaning. Tony Woodcock. If the ball didn't come to him, he moaned. He didn't like training. He didn't like this. So we used to call him Albert Tatlock. And for people that don't know, that's a programme called Coronation Street, where Albert Tatlock was an old guy that used to moan all the time, and that's what the nickname for Tony Woodcock was. I never saw him actually praise anybody else or congratulate anybody else. He only ever moaned. Tony Woodcock.
We had an Albert Tatlock as well. A guy called Kevin McDonald. Kevin was the same. Never seen him with a smile on his face.
And everyone had a trigger, didn't they, out of Only Fools and Horses? A player who wasn't the brightest and the smartest.
Yeah, Trigger was...
Was it you, Stevie?
Oh, no, there was two. Well, there's been two. So, Jason McAteer.
Yeah, I know that he
Trigger.
got called Trigger always.
And actually, there was two Triggers at one time at Liverpool because Jones, right back.
Bill?
No.
Rob Jones.
No. Rob Jones.
Rob Jones.
Rob Jones was Trigger as well. And I think the two of them overlapped at Liverpool. So they had two Triggers.
Right. Yeah, see, everyone can answer that one.
Yeah.
Jules, is there ever a player that you've covered that's super serious? Probably more with the journalist, right?
Yeah, yeah. Some of the journalists, especially here in England, they're a lot very serious. I like Mathieu Debuchy. He was always so professional, so serious, so focused every time. But usually it's more the other way around than being too serious.
All right, let's quickly give you these next two because they're both for you, Stevie. For Stevie, what is one thing the opposing team does that always ticks you off on the field? P.S. I love you, Stevie.
Oh. Look,
Nicol, I love Stevie.
Look at the handle as well. Love Stevie.
Oh,
It's getting emotional.
Fantastic. You know, one thing used to tick me off is when somebody kicked the ball away, I used to go bananas. So irritating. And then the referee usually didn't do anything about it.
But that's why they did it, so that they would irritate you.
Yeah, there's very few things got to me, but that particular one, kicking the ball away, used to drive me mental.
Secondly, does Stevie own any Bitcoin?
What? You
own any Bitcoin, Stevie?
So there's usually one place to start before you buy something. You've got to know where it is. So I don't even know what. I don't even know what it is.
If you'd have been in at the beginning, you probably wouldn't be sat here on ESPN FC now, so no.
It's not even a thing. It's not even like. At least you got gold and you got money and you got diamonds and Bitcoin's nothing. Nobody knows what it is. It's not you can't turn around and show me if you've got Bitcoin. You can't say there it is. Because it doesn't exist.
But you might be able to show.
It's fresh air.
Okay, so I think the answer to that is absolutely not.
We go with no.
Yeah.
All right. Robbo, what's something that you're glad you didn't have to deal with in your playing days? For example, 24-hour journalism, social media, or VAR, anything like that?
Oh, social media. I'm not very good on social media now. In fact, I'm not on it. So to do it as a player, I would have hated that. You know. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that at all. So I certainly wouldn't have said Fernandez and been apologising for missing a penalty. That's for sure.
I wonder if there are like lots of, Stewart, Robson, pretend accounts, people claiming to be him.
Aye.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
They'll be all grumpy as well.
Aye.
Arguing with everything.
Okay. Has anyone seen
nice,
Ted Lasso?
Shaka. That's not very nice, Shaka.
Robbo, have you seen Ted Lasso?
So one episode.
No, I haven't. Go on, tell me. Oh, is that the manager, the American manager?
Yeah, the American manager.
Coaching in England.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I've seen a bit of it, yes.
Yes, so it's a very fun show.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking you guys because I wanted to come to you, Robbo, just because of the Arsenal links. What do you make of Arteta claiming that Ted Lasso has given him inspiration? Is this the craziest source of inspiration you've ever heard from a manager? And let's remember that Ted Lasso didn't know anything about soccer when he went into it.
Yeah, I think it's what was that other football, the comedy football one? He was meant to be the England manager, Mike Bassett, England football manager.
Mike Bassett.
Sounds though Arteta might get some inspiration off that as well. If Ted Lasso's giving him inspiration. So I can't. That is a bit madness from Arteta, but give him some praise for once. He did well against Spurs. Got his tactics absolutely right. Let's give him some credit.
I think, you know what, Jules has disappeared. And I think that he just didn't want to answer this question, basically. Okay. All right, Robbo, how was it recording for FIFA 22? What were the best and worst parts? And for your information, considering it's your first year, you've been great.
Ooh. Oh, only considering it's my first year, that's a backhanded compliment, isn't it, really? Considering it's your first year, you were great.
You're all right, you're not that bad.
What was the best and worst thing? Yeah. Writing the scripts was quite difficult. That took a long time. I think the best thing was finishing it. The worst thing was starting it. But no, it's been okay. I've enjoyed it.
That doesn't show like
I think the game's a good game. And
they paid him in Bitcoin.
Hopefully people like it.
Aye, did you get
paid in Bitcoin?
I did it for free just because I love the game so much, and that's the sort of guy I do everything for free.
No, well, I've got one question there. So when we hear you guys on FIFA, a lot of the phrases you've decided yourself when you said write in the scripts, is that right?
Yes. I'm not sure everybody's written the scripts over the years, but I decided that the easiest way for me to do it was to write all the scripts, which probably took me, it was 200 hours of actual voiceovers and probably about 500 hours of writing the scripts. So it was quite
He's saying that now so that his invoice he doesn't clash.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? I hope you're getting paid by the hour.
As I say, Kate,
yes,
Kate,
yes.
as I said to you, I'm doing it for free, Kate. I'm doing it for free.
I'm sorry.
Give us a my heart.
All right, for all of you, I'll start with you, Shaka. What's the worst advice you've ever got from a coach or senior player?
I keep coming to me first. I can't think of it.
All right, you have a think. I feel like Stevie will know this.
I don't know about the worst advice, but we once did a training exercise when I was at Notts County. And the coach got us all together and said, right, I need you to pair up with somebody. And there's going to be 2 teams. And one team's going to stand 15 yards one side of the halfway line. And the other side is going to stand 15 yards the other side of the halfway line. There's going to be a ball in the middle. I want everybody to get a number. And when I would shout a number, I want to see who gets the ball first. Oh my dear. You want to have seen the treatment room after this. And of course, me being a little bit long in the tooth, I picked the softest guy that I knew wouldn't go anywhere near it as my partner on the other team. But I tell you what, some of the young boys, they were standing, they were like that, bulls, getting ready. And as soon as he shouted the number, they went screaming out and smashed each other. It was unbelievable. The treatment room after this training session was jammed. You couldn't get in the door.
Needless to say, but that didn't happen again, right?
Oh, oh no.
No.
Oh,
Shaka,
no.
have you had time to think now?
Yeah. I don't know what bad advice I've been given.
No one serious in your teams. No bad advice.
No bad advice I listen to. You know what's bad advice.
Right.
So you don't listen to it. I mean, I pass again, Kate.
All right, fair enough. Robbo, what about you?
Well, you know who I'm going to mention, Kay, don't you? I just
BG?
had a very good season for Coventry. I just won Player of the Year. I was the captain of the club, and a new manager came in. I'm looking forward to the start of the season. The manager, Bobby Gould, has just taken over, brings me into to his office and says, you had far too much influence on this club last year. I'm going to stop that. You're going to have to try and stop that and only play one touch rather than getting on the ball too much. Not really what I wanted to hear when I just had a good season.
Have you got a dartboard at home with Bobby Gould's face in the middle, Robbo?
It's worn out. It's finished now. The darts have gone in there too often.
All right, the last question is for you,
Him
Robbo.
and I didn't see eye to eye. Yeah.
Oh no,
We didn't
and
see
you
eye
know
to eye,
what?
me and
Very
Bobby Gould, I have to say.
diplomatic, which leads perfectly to the next question.
Cross-eyed.
Has Robbo has Robbo ever thought about putting out a series, How to Be a Gentleman?
Oh, goodness me.
How to be a gentleman? Not really, no. He or she trying to say that I'm a gentleman? The way I come
think
across?
so.
Or that I'm just
Yeah, I
rude
think they're
and
saying,
obnoxious?
no, I think that they're saying that you're such a gent, maybe you could put out a series on how to teach this lot.
What?
Sorry?
Well, I don't know. I could teach Stevie a thing or two about dressing, maybe, and getting some
How
style.
dare you?
Shaka, I mean, the ultimate. If they were looking for a new James Bond, it's got to be Shaka, isn't it? I mean, he's the ultimate gentleman. He's suave, sophisticated, tall, good-looking, aggressive
Dashing.
when he needs to be. He's the man.
All right,
Dashing.
we've got
Yeah,
a
that as well,
bonus
Shaka.
tweet.
Thank you.
We've got a
Thank you,
bonus
Stuart.
tweet.
Uh-oh.
It's from Craig Burley. Apologising for missing a penalty. Get a grip of yourself. Where does it stop? Just get on with it.
Well, he's old school, isn't he?
It's fair to say that Craig isn't a fan
He's
of
not,
Bruno
and he's on the
Fernandes?
show tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more about
Oh,
it.
you'll be hearing about it.
Well, he's old school.
Yeah, you will be hearing about it. Make sure you catch him tomorrow, because he's not going to be happy with these lots saying it's okay to apologise for a penalty.
angry.
Thanks so much for joining us on the latest edition of Extra Time. Craig Burley will be back tomorrow with Dan Thomas. Don't miss it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.